Most people think of dimes as just loose change, but some Roosevelt dimes are worth far more than 10 cents. Could the next one you find be worth a small fortune? Welcome to Rare Coins Numix. Watch till the end to uncover their true value. The 1977 Roosevelt dime, though seemingly a small, simple coin, carries a fascinating story. For many, it's just another dime, tucked away in their pockets or thrown into a jar of loose change. But for collectors and numismatists, this coin represents much more, a piece of American history, a testament to the artistry of coin design, and, in certain cases, an unexpectedly valuable treasure. To truly understand the significance of the 1977 Roosevelt dime, we need to dive deep into its origins. Let's set the stage. The year is 1977, and the United States is in the midst of navigating some serious economic turbulence. The country is recovering from the 1973 oil crisis, inflation is climbing, and economic instability is making it hard for many Americans to make ends meet. It's a time when every dollar feels harder to earn and even harder to stretch. In the midst of this economic uncertainty, the U.S. Mint was continuing its usual work of minting coins to keep up with the country's demands for currency. The Roosevelt dime, first introduced in 1946, had already been in circulation for over 3 decades by 1977. Yet, despite its long history, this particular year's minting would prove to be one that would hold special significance in the world of coin collecting. The Roosevelt dime was designed by John R. Sinek, the 8th chief engraver of the United States Mint. His design was simple yet elegant, featuring the left-facing bust of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945, was honored with this coin for his pivotal role in establishing Social Security in the United States, a program that has helped millions of Americans since its inception. The reverse side of the coin depicts a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The overall design remains one of the most enduring and recognizable in American coinage. While the design of the Roosevelt dime hasn't changed much since its introduction, the quality and condition of individual coins have varied greatly over the years. That's where things get interesting with the 1977 coin. Despite the large mintage numbers for 1977, something happened during the minting process that would later contribute to the coin's collectible value. A typical year saw millions of dimes minted, with the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint each producing a significant amount of coins. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 796 million dimes, while the Denver Mint made 376 million. With numbers that high, most people assumed these coins would have little value beyond their face value. But it's the specific qualities of these coins that would later spark interest among collectors. What makes the 1977 Roosevelt dime particularly intriguing is the variation in quality among the dimes that were minted. As is the case with many coins, not all were created equally. Over time, collectors began to notice that certain dimes from the 1977 mintage exhibited characteristics that set them apart from others, most notably, a feature known as full bands. This term refers to the lines across the torch on the reverse side of the coin, which should appear sharp and fully defined when the coin has been struck properly. These full bands are a hallmark of a high-quality strike, and coins with this feature are considered much more valuable than their counterparts without it. For those with a keen eye and a passion for collecting, these full bands Roosevelt dimes were a hidden gem. Over time, as collectors began to search for dimes with the full bands feature in perfect condition, the value of these coins began to rise. But finding a 1977 Roosevelt dime with full bands in excellent condition wasn't easy. The coins that met this criterion were rare, and even fewer were in top-grade condition. The value of these dimes depends heavily on their grade, which is determined by how well preserved they are. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the perfect coin, flawless in every way. A coin that scores high on this scale, particularly a 1977 Roosevelt dime with full bands, becomes highly sought after. The best of the best, graded at MS 67, Mint State 67, or higher, are prized by collectors and can fetch impressive prices at auctions. Even a coin graded MS 65 or MS 66, while not quite as rare, can command a price much higher than its face value. But what about the coins that are in less than perfect condition? Well, the vast majority of 1977 dimes remain fairly modest in value. Most of them are found in circulation, often worn and scratched from years of use. These coins are generally worth little more than their face value, 10 cents. However, it's the specimens in exceptional condition, with sharp, clear details and well-defined features, that truly make the 1977 Roosevelt dime stand out in the eyes of collectors. Over time, the 1977 Roosevelt dime began to catch the attention of more serious collectors and investors. As people realized that a small percentage of these coins were rare, their value began to rise steadily. But in recent years, the prices have surged to levels that no one could have predicted when the coins were first minted. For a few lucky individuals who have managed to hold on to dimes in pristine condition, especially those with full bands and top-tier grades, the rewards have been astronomical, and this brings us to the stunning value of the 1977 Roosevelt dime in today's market. While the majority of these coins are still worth only their face value, certain rare specimens, especially those that are graded MS-67 or higher with full bands, have fetched incredible sums. Some of these coins have been known to sell for as much as $117,000 at auction. Imagine that, what started as a simple 10-cent piece has turned into a rare, valuable artifact of American history that in the world of coin collecting, this represents an extraordinary return on investment. For those who stumbled upon a 1977 Roosevelt dime in perfect condition, it's like finding a hidden treasure. The lesson here is clear: the value of a coin isn't always tied to its initial minting or its face value. With the right combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance, a coin can become much more than just currency. It can become a prized possession, a valuable collectible that is sought after by enthusiasts around the world. So, next time you come across a 1977 Roosevelt dime, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You might just have a rare gem in your hands, one that could be worth a lot more than you ever expected. Up next, the 1984 Roosevelt dime, what might seem like a simple, everyday coin, but in the world of numismatics, this small piece of currency holds much more than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone new to the hobby, understanding the history, significance, and value of the 1984 Roosevelt dime can truly change how you look at this humble coin. Let's take a step back and revisit the year 1984. The United States was in the midst of an era of change. The Reagan administration had been in power for a couple of years, and the country was experiencing significant economic recovery after the economic downturn of the early 1980s. Inflation was on the decline, the economy was stabilizing, and the stock market was seeing steady growth. This period of economic optimism was also reflected in the cultural landscape, where the rise of technology, entertainment, and political shifts were reshaping American society. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint was continuing its important task of producing the coins that would be used in everyday transactions across the nation. The Roosevelt dime, in circulation since 1946, was still the nation's 10-cent coin, and its design was a familiar sight for Americans. This was also a time when the U.S. Mint was fine-tuning its coin production methods to ensure a steady supply of currency while preserving the legacy of America's great leaders and symbols. The Roosevelt dime, specifically, was designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. After Roosevelt's death in 1945, the government decided to honor him on the dime, recognizing his role in shaping the future of America, particularly through his creation of Social Security. Sinek's design for the obverse, or front, of the coin, features Roosevelt's left-facing profile, a tribute to the man whose vision for social reform would change the lives of millions of Americans. The reverse of the coin is just as symbolic. It depicts a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. These symbols are timeless, and the clean, simple design continues to resonate with Americans. The Roosevelt dime, with its understated elegance, has endured for decades, with only slight modifications over the years. Despite these changes, its essence has remained intact, serving as a testament to both Roosevelt's leadership and the values of the United States. The production of the 1984 Roosevelt dime was handled by two U.S. Mint facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. As was customary, millions of these dimes were struck to meet the demands of the U.S. economy. In total, over 2,001,984 dimes were produced. The Philadelphia Mint struck the majority, with approximately 1.7 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced the remainder. Most of these coins would circulate in everyday transactions, passing through countless hands and enduring the wear and tear of daily life. The material used for these coins was copper-nickel clad, a composition that had been in use since 1965. This change in the metal content of coins came about due to the rising cost of silver, and it meant that coins like the Roosevelt dime were no longer made with precious metals, but rather with a more affordable and durable mix of copper and nickel. The result was a coin that was affordable to mint and practical for everyday use, but also one that was more easily mass-produced. However, even though millions of 1984 dimes were produced, not all were created equal. As with any coin, the condition and quality of a coin can vary significantly, and this is where the true value of the 1984 Roosevelt dime begins to reveal itself. Over time, as these coins circulated through the economy, many became worn, scratched, and damaged. Coins that had been in circulation for years showed signs of use, and this meant that most of the dimes from 1984 are worth no more than their face value of 10 cents, but some coins, particularly those that have been well preserved, stand out as rare and valuable treasures. For collectors, a coin's value is often determined by its condition, and this is where grading comes into play. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no signs of wear or damage. Coins that are well preserved, particularly those with little to no wear, are often given a grade of MS-65 or higher. These coins are considered to be in mint condition and are much more valuable than their worn counterparts. When it comes to the 1984 Roosevelt dime, coins that are graded MS-67 or higher are particularly sought after. These coins are in pristine condition and often show little to no signs of wear. A coin that is graded at MS-67 or higher is considered to be of exceptional quality, and it's these coins that are truly prized in the world of numismatics. The rarity of such high-quality examples is what drives up their value. Another key factor that increases the value of certain 1984 dimes is the presence of full bands. Full bands refer to the sharpness and clarity of the lines on the torch depicted on the reverse side of the coin. Coins that exhibit a fully defined, sharp set of horizontal lines across the torch are considered to be of higher quality. For collectors, a 1984 Roosevelt dime with full bands is much more desirable than one without this feature, as it represents a more detailed and well-struck coin. So, why does the 1984 Roosevelt dime stand out in the world of coin collecting? The answer lies in the rarity of well-preserved examples. Despite the large number of dimes minted in 1984, only a small percentage of these coins remain in pristine condition. Over time, many of the dimes have been lost, damaged, or worn down by the rigors of everyday life. As a result, finding a high-grade 1984 dime, especially one with full bands, is a rare and exciting discovery for any collector. When it comes to the 1984 Roosevelt dime, the value can vary dramatically depending on the condition of the coin. Most of the dimes minted that year are worth only their face value, 10 cents. However, as with any collectible, rarity and condition play a major role in determining a coin's worth. Coins that are in mint condition, particularly those graded MS-67 or higher and featuring full bands, are worth significantly more. These high-quality coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands, of dollars at auction, but the most stunning part of the 1984 Roosevelt dime story is the extraordinary value of some of the rarest examples. Coins that meet the highest standards of quality and preservation can command impressive sums in the marketplace. In fact, a 1984 Roosevelt dime that is graded MS-67 or higher with full bands has been known to fetch up to $112,000 at auction. That's right, what started as a simple, 10-cent coin, produced in the millions, has the potential to be worth over $100,000 if it's in the right condition. It's a testament to how rare, well-preserved coins can become highly coveted collectibles. And it serves as a reminder that even the most unassuming pieces of currency can hold hidden value, waiting to be uncovered by knowledgeable collectors. So, the next time you find a 1984 Roosevelt dime, take a moment to inspect it carefully. It could be worth far more than its face value. If you're lucky enough to come across one in mint condition, with sharp, full bands, you could be holding a coin worth a small fortune. Who would have thought that a dime, a coin that's often overlooked and easily disregarded, could be worth so much? The 1998 Roosevelt dime may seem like just another coin that passes through our hands every day. But to a coin collector or numismatist, it represents something far more significant, a piece of history, a product of craftsmanship, and in rare cases, a valuable treasure. Today, we'll take a closer look at this dime, exploring its historical context, the artistry behind its design, the details of its minting, and, most importantly, the collector appeal that makes certain 1,998 dimes worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's rewind to the year 1998, a time when the world was experiencing rapid technological advancement and economic growth. The dot-com bubble was in full swing, the internet was rapidly transforming the way people lived and worked, and the world was watching as the United States navigated the final years of the 20th century. The U.S. economy was thriving, unemployment was low, and the stock market was reaching new heights. People were optimistic about the future, and the economy was buzzing with the promise of new technology and global interconnectedness. In the world of coinage, however, things were much more stable. The U.S. Mint continued its long tradition of producing coins for the nation, including the Roosevelt Dime, which had been in circulation since 1946. By 1998, the design of the dime had remained largely unchanged for over 50 years. The coin was familiar, yet still held a sense of timelessness, much like the man it honored, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, is remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's establishment of the Social Security program was one of his most significant legacies, as it provided financial security for millions of Americans. This contribution was so important that in 1946, Congress decided to honor Roosevelt by placing his image on the dime, forever linking him to the financial well-being of the American public. The design of the Roosevelt dime was created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. Sinek's design features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, surrounded by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Beneath Roosevelt's image, you can find the mint year, and also Sinek's initials, F and S, subtly placed on Roosevelt's coat. The reverse side of the coin features a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The Roosevelt dime was introduced during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from silver to a more affordable copper-nickel-clad composition for its coins. Starting in 1965, the Mint began using copper-nickel-clad for all its coins, including the dime, due to the rising price of silver. As a result, the 1998 Roosevelt dime, like all dimes minted after 1965, was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver. Now, let's fast forward to 1998. The U.S. Mint was continuing to produce dimes to meet the needs of a growing economy. In total, nearly 1.7 billion dimes were minted that year, with the Philadelphia Mint producing a significant portion of these coins. The coins were struck in the familiar copper-nickel-clad composition, and just like in previous years, they were intended for general circulation. For most people, the 1998 Roosevelt dime was simply another coin to use in everyday transactions. However, the true value of a coin isn't determined solely by how many are produced. The condition of the coin plays a crucial role in its value, and in the world of coin collecting, certain factors can make a seemingly ordinary coin quite extraordinary. The 1998 Roosevelt dime, like other coins, can range in condition from well-worn, circulated pieces to those in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most of the dimes minted in 1998 were used in everyday transactions and showed signs of wear and handling. These coins are typically worth only their face value of 10 cents, but, just like with any coin, there are some exceptions. A small number of 1,998 dimes were preserved in mint condition, and these coins are where the real value lies. Coins that have been stored carefully and never circulated are considered uncirculated or mint state. These coins are graded based on their appearance, with the highest grade being MS-70, which signifies a perfect coin, flawless in every way. The better the coin's condition, the higher its potential value. When it comes to the 1998 Roosevelt dime, collectors and investors are most interested in coins that have been graded as MS-67 or higher. These coins are nearly flawless and exhibit a sharp, clean appearance with minimal signs of wear or blemishes. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. For collectors, finding an MS-67 1998 Roosevelt dime is like striking gold. These coins are in great demand, and depending on their specific characteristics, they can command impressive prices at auction. One particular feature that increases the value of certain 1998 dimes is the presence of full bands. Full bands refers to the clarity and definition of the horizontal lines on the torch depicted on the reverse side of the coin. When these lines are fully defined and sharp, it signifies that the coin was struck with exceptional precision. Coins that feature full bands are considered to be of higher quality and are typically worth more than those without this feature. For collectors, full bands are a coveted attribute that can significantly increase a coin's value, but what makes the 1998 Roosevelt dime truly intriguing is that, despite the large mintage numbers, only a small percentage of these coins remain in pristine condition. As time passes, coins that have been well preserved become rarer and more valuable. Many of the 1998 dimes, even those that were uncirculated at the time of minting, have suffered damage or discoloration over the years. This means that finding a 1998 Roosevelt dime in near-perfect condition is no easy feat, making such coins highly prized by collectors. As demand for high-quality coins grows, the 1998 Roosevelt dime has become a sought-after collectible. While the majority of 1998 dimes remain worth only their face value of 10 cents, those that have been graded MS67 or higher and possess the full bands feature are worth much more. In fact, some of these rare, high-grade dimes have been known to sell for impressive sums at auction. The most valuable 1998 dimes, particularly those that are in perfect or near-perfect condition, can fetch as much as $87,000 at auction. Yes, that's right, $87,000. While this may sound astonishing for a coin that was originally worth just 10 cents, it's a testament to the rarity and desirability of certain 1998 Roosevelt dimes. The high demand for coins that are in excellent condition, coupled with the limited number of coins that meet the strict grading criteria, has driven the price of these rare dimes to remarkable heights. For those who may not be familiar with the world of coin collecting, it can be difficult to grasp how a coin's value can skyrocket to such extraordinary amounts. But the world of numismatics is driven by rarity, condition, and the collector's desire to own a piece of history. Coins like the 1998 Roosevelt dime, with their long-standing design, historical significance, and limited availability in pristine condition, offer a unique opportunity for collectors to own a valuable piece of American heritage. So, what's the takeaway here? The 1998 Roosevelt dime may seem like just another dime at first glance, but it holds potential for serious value in the right condition. If you happen to come across one of these coins, don't overlook it. It could very well be a rare gem worth far more than its face value, and it could one day become a valuable addition to a collection, potentially selling for a price that's hard to believe. If you're fortunate enough to find a 1998 Roosevelt dime in MS67 or higher with full bands, you could be holding onto a coin worth as much as $87,000. In the world of coin collecting, you never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. What seems like a simple dime could actually be a rare collectible, ready to surprise you with its value. So, the next time you're going through your change, take a moment to check that 1998 Roosevelt dime. It might just be worth more than you think.